Hello, good morning. Today is the 6th of June 2025. It's a 7:15 in the morning. We're back at the property, and the task for today would be to continue cutting the grass. I started cutting the grass on the upper side of the property and on the lower side of the property, and now we will have to cut the grass in between. After that, we will have to water the trees that I've planted last fall and this spring. I didn't have to water them the whole month of May. It was a really rainy month. But now in June, as soon as June started, the rains stopped and the heat got really hot. The heat got hot, okay? The heat got really big, large, I don't know. It got really hot around here. And soil is really poor, so it drained up and dried up really fast. I also brought some sacks of sawdust and of course the IBC tote with the water to water the small trees. And we will have another task, but not here. I bought a new brush cutter and we'll have to break it in, to let it run for a few hours without using it. But that's another story. So that's all for now. Stick around. Hello, welcome back to the property. Today is the 9th of June 2025. It's roughly 10 o'clock in the morning. No, sorry, half past 10 o'clock in the morning. And I just came here to see what I've been doing this weekend. And mainly, I've been cutting the grass from between the trees. And I've managed to do this on like, I don't know, 3/4 of the property, of the surface that needs to be cut and cleared from the grass. And the thing that I did, unlike last year, I tried to cut it more often. So we're in the June, and I'll try to cut it like 3 times: June, August and September, or June, July and August, and not let it grow that big, because if you let it grow big, then these bushes will grow on the property and it will be harder to cut them. I have a blade, a mulching blade for the brush cutter, but it works harder rather than cutting with the string. So as you can see on our neighbor's property, which wasn't cut in a few years, a lot of bushes grew, and I wouldn't like that to happen here. And last year I only cut it once at the end of the year in order to have more mulching material, so higher grass, and to make more mulch, but it was harder to cut and the bushes developed a lot of roots, so it will be harder to get rid of them. And that's why this year I'll try to cut it more often. But it's time consuming, and one thing that happens, for instance, like here where we have evenly spaced trees between the rows, it goes fine and it goes pretty fast. But where we have these little saplings growing in between the rows, which I said that I will let them grow for the future forest to be thicker, it takes a lot of time because you need to pay attention to them, and in the high grass you won't see them as easy and you risk cutting them, so it works a little bit slower. Yeah, you can see here, so they are in between the trees, in between the row of trees. And then here in the upper part we'll see that the trees themselves are really thick, which I think I'll need to thin them out, so they are really close together grown. So I'll need to cut some of them and try to maintain this tidiness of the trees growing on the rows, because otherwise it will be really hard to maintain it, to cut the grass in between it and so on, and they won't even develop that fine being that close together. So here, as you can see, I still have to cut the grass, which is really tall and really thick, and you cannot see the saplings when you're cutting the grass, and it's really easy to cut them, and that's why it's a little bit time consuming. I wouldn't want to cut them, as I will still need to fill in some of the positions, but other than that, I think I will start clearing them out and just leave rows of trees. So like here we have a lot of saplings growing in between the rows. As I said, I needed them, and I still need them, some of them, to fill in some position where the freshly planted trees withered or they were destroyed. I'll talk to you a little bit about that later. See, like this, we would like to have rows, or if we have some saplings or other trees growing, to be at a sufficient distance from the rows as to be easier for me to cut the grass in between them, because this is the main operation of maintaining this property, cutting the grass and not letting all the bushes grow. That's all for now. Stick around. Another thing that I need to do is keep an eye, or keep an evidence, or I don't know, keep track of what trees withered from what position, in order to fill those positions in and to know how many trees are needed. Here you can see that on the experimental ditch, which now is an experimental row filled with paulownia, one of it withered and I cut it down. However, another sapling grew, so this position will be filled in naturally. And it seems that all the paulownia caught roots and is growing nicely. I've watered them 2 days ago. All the newly planted trees are watered at least in the first year in order to catch roots and develop. And the good soil that I put in the ditch makes the difference. They are all really green, dark green, and growing nicely and vibrant. And next year will grow even better as their root system grows and develops. And as I was saying, some of the trees there was this green lizard. I don't know. Now cannot be seen, or can I get a little bit closer on the camera? Yeah, you can see it there. See? Really nice lizard. Okay. And as I said, some of the trees either withered, didn't catch roots, like these ones over here. And over here. Or they were destroyed by pests. This one, we have a big pest. And that pest is called the brush cutting machine, because I managed to cut it down while cutting the grass. So that's another reason why some of the trees are withering down. But that it is what it is. And another reason, we have these pests, let's call them pests or wild animals, which are the rabbits. So as you can see here, we have this. There are a lot of trees here. This one is a plopus, and it is 3 years old, so this would have been the 3rd year of growth. And the rabbit decided to chew on its bark, and by doing this and chewing the bark all around the trunk, this tree will wither. So although now it has really nice green leaves, it will die. So thank you, Mr. Rabbit. And we have another one eaten by the rabbits, which is a mulberry tree. This one was planted this spring, so we newly planted one, which is down here, and it was also eaten by the rabbits. Well, it is what it is. So this one, it had really nice green leaves, it caught roots and it developed nicely, and then Mr. Rabbit again ate its bark. For this one, it seems that it will how do you say this one? It will grow back from this side, so from below of the attack of where the bark was eaten. And as I said, I still have to keep an evidence of which trees withered, and for that I have this table on which I have all the trees on the initial position places where they were planted. The ones that are circled are the ones that were planted this year, and now I'll just make an X on the ones that withered. That's the task for today, and that's all what I've done so far this weekend. Have a good one. That's all for now. Bye.